Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Healing Loudly YouTube channel. My name is Coach Paula, and I always want to remind you if you are not sorry, I'm trying to get this light out this camera. If you're not a regular to the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button so you can stay alert for any videos that I come out with. This video talks about all things domestic abuse, from emotional to physical and everything in between. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and get the word out. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about recognizing your triggers. So one of the things that happens when you're healing from abuse is, and keyword healing, you start to recognize what it feels like to be around people who are unhealthy, who are maybe miserable, negative, very nasty attitudes, passive aggressive, all of that stuff, you name it. You start to figure out how your body reacts to those types of people. So, for example, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and I was saying, back in the day before I had, my therapy sessions, my coaching sessions, and all of that, when I was around someone who was really negative, nasty, and a bit passive aggressive, I would feel anxiety. Now, at the time, I didn't know that I was feeling anxious in response to the energy that they were putting out. I was just thinking, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel so anxious and so unsettled? So, as I continued along my healing process, I began to realize the body keeps score, right? And I talk about this all the time, how the body keeps score. So I began to realize when I'm around someone who's making me feel uncomfortable, I start to feel anxious. I start to feel like I just have to get away. I don't want to stick around any longer. Um, it's hard for me to enjoy the conversation. Like, let's say we're out getting something to eat. I won't even enjoy my meal. Like, that out of it, and I start kind of regressing. And that's my clue that there's something happening in this situation that's making me feel uncomfortable. And because I've worked really hard on setting boundaries, um, I will no longer be around that person. And this does not have to be a romantic relationship. This could be a friendship that you have created. This could be a family member, a coworker. You know how you feel when you're around someone who is saying really passive aggressive things, right? Or someone who's just being very, very negative. Like, have you ever been around someone who complains about everything? Everything is a woe is me. And then when you try to share your story or anything, like, yeah, this happened to me, they downplay anything you say. They don't want to hear it. It's kind of in one ear, out the other. They're really not interested. But then they'll continue on the conversation talking about how miserable their life is, right? As someone who's always taking and never giving. Or if you bring up something that bothered you, maybe they're making you feel like you're being dramatic, or that didn't really happen the way you think it happened, right? They're gaslighting you. Those are the types of friendships and relationships that you really do not need, right? But the key here is recognizing, how do you feel when you're around that person? So for me, if I'm around someone who's really negative, very passive aggressive, they've been throwing little shady remarks here and there, I'll carry that with me. So throughout the day, throughout the night, sometimes into the next day, I'm like, I really feel unsettled. It really bothered me, the interaction I had with this person. I don't know why this person was acting this way or why they were saying things that way. And I had to learn how to release that. So when that happens for me, I sit with myself and I think over, well, what happened to make me feel the way I feel now? And then once I figure that out, well, what are you going to do moving forward? If that person wants to hang out again, if that person wants to meet up, are you going to hang out with them, knowing that it's going to be the same thing over and over? And I'm not talking about a bad day, right? We all have bad days. We all have times when we want to vent, when we want to um, talk about what's bothering us or what's happening in our life. That's completely normal. I'm talking about that person where everything is always a problem, but your problems do not matter to them. Those are the situations where you need to kind of really assess and determine, is this person really giving me anything? How is this person helping me? Right? The body keeps score. And I say that, I've said that in the last video. I say that over and over and over. If you are trying to figure out or determine what your triggers are, pay attention to how you feel when you're in a certain situation that makes you unsettled. And try to track and trace what exactly happened to make you feel uncomfortable. For me, because I've been gaslit many times, because I've been emotionally abused, right? Because I've been made to feel that I'm overreacting. All of that stuff that comes in an abusive relationship, when someone else is making me feel that way, I instantly get triggered. And because where I've come in my healing process is so important to me, I will not continue to engage, especially if it's a friendship, if it's a new friendship, right? Or even if it's an old one that hasn't been healthy. But I'm not going to continue to engage with a person who makes me feel like crap. There's only so much justifying you can do as to why this person is the way they are. Because a lot of times they'll have their good moments, right? And then when they're in a mood, they're in a mood. And anyone who's around them can feel the wrath of their mood. And you're not punching bags. You don't have to deal with that, and you shouldn't deal with that. So the key here is, if you want to figure out how to recognize your triggers, pay attention to how you feel in an uncomfortable situation and what happened to make you feel uncomfortable. That way, when you start to sense and you can sense like the energy shift, the mood shift, when someone is, everything you say is being attacked. You know what that feels like. And you know it doesn't feel good. But understand that you don't have to continue to engage with that person. And you can take a step back, set your boundary, and say, you know what, you're having a rough day, but you don't need to take it out on me. I'm not here for that. And set those boundaries. Boundaries are key as you heal, and even after healing, because healing is a lifelong process, right? You just get further on the track than when you started. But boundaries are meant to be there forever. Boundaries are there to protect you. So recognizing your triggers, paying attention to your body and what your body is telling you. All right. So as always, I invite you to like and subscribe. If you made it till the end, just know that, and the details will be in the comments below. I am doing a holiday special from now until the end of the year for one-on-one coaching. Again, next year I'm going to move into completely coursework and away from one-on-one. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you sign up on my calendar. The link again is in the comments below, and continue to heal loudly, everyone.